Dydh daol, Cans aral Learn Cornish podcast a gastinurch. I'd like to apologise that the sound levels on this episode are a bit over the place as I'm editing this. This is because, well, don't really have a good reason, but there you go. Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to a local musical that's being performed in Falmouth in November. The musical is called Bal Maiden, and it's about Bal Maidens, who were women who worked at mines back in the day. It's set in the 1800s, so at a time when the Cornish language was dwindling but still spoken by some people natively. If you're in Cornwall and you'd like to come and see it, it will be performed at Princess Pavilion, Falmouth on the 16th, 17th and 18th of November. You can get tickets from balmaidenmusical.org.uk. I'll put a link in the description, and the musical does have some Cornish words in it. Some of you who have listened to episode 1 might remember that I said I was going to base these lessons on the KDL lessons. So I have remembered that I said that, and I'm going to talk to you about the verbs Mynnes, meaning to want, and Gallos, meaning to be able to or can when conjugated in the present tense, and Godhvos, which means to know how to. So I've got an auxiliary verb special for you today. Firstly, I'll go through Mynnes, the verb for to want to. This verb is used when you follow it by a verb, so to want to do something. It can also mean to intend to do something, but you can't really use it with nouns, so you can't say to want a coffee. It would have to be to want to drink a coffee. So I'll go through the present tense and then the past tense. The present tense, as with most verbs, can take many forms or can be written in many ways. So first I'll go through the present tense conjugations, the unmutated conjugations. So for V, I, the word is minav. Ta, minith. Ev or he, min. Ni, minin. Hui, minoch. E, minons. Those words as they are can only be used when answering a question with yes, meaning yes, I want to. And you can also add the pronouns to them afterwards. So you can say minavi, minith ta, or minta, min ev, min he, minin ni, minno hui, minins e, although the pronoun is usually omitted. You can use these words also to conjugate the present tense by adding the particle y in front of them, which causes a second mutation, so the m mutates to a v. So in that form, this means I want to, or you want to, etc., as a normal sentence. And this sounds like I vinavi, I vinith ta, or I vinta for short, I vin ev, and I vin he, I vinin ni, I vino hui, I vinons e. And as with most verbs, you can also take the third person singular and use that to conjugate verbs for all of the subjects. So mi avin, I want, ti avin, you want, ev avin, he wants, etc. If I want to say I want to drink a coffee, I could say this the easy way, mi avin eva coffee, Or I could also say this, I vinna vi eva coffee, or omit the V, so I vinnav eva coffee. They want to go to the pub would be I avin mos then dywoti, or I vinons I mos then dywoti. Mynnes can also be used to convey an intention. So, if you wanted to say, we'll take her home, you could translate that as Ni avin hi gora tre. Equally, you could also translate that as I vinin ni hi gora tre. There's also another option for conjugating this in the present tense, and that's saying mia ra Mynnes, as you can do with all verbs, although this isn't exactly the same meaning as conjugating it the other ways. It has an emphasis on I do want to. And conjugating any verb in this way, mia ra, tia ra, etc., followed by the infinitive, also conveys or can convey the future for any verb. Now, to say the negative, you use the same root conjugations with ni in front of them, as with all verbs. So I don't want, etc. would be ni vinnav, ni vinnith, or ni vinta, ni vin ev, ni vin he, ni vinin ni vinno hui, ni vinons I. I don't want to drink a coffee would be ni vinnav vi eva coffee. You don't want to drink beer would be ni vinta eva korev, or for the plural you, ni vinno hui eva korev. To make questions with the verb want, you take the root conjugations and stick the particle a on the front of them, which also causes a mutation. So, do I want, etc. A vinnav vi, a vinta, a vinev, a vinhi, a vinin ni, a vinno hui, a vinons I. And we can put that all together to make some sentences. A vinnav vi eva coffee? Vinnav. Mia vin eva coffee. A vinno hui eva korev? Na vinin. Ni vinin ni eva korev. I should also say at this point, Mynnes is spelt with two N's together, and both of them should be pronounced. But I'm bad at that. Avinta mos, the aberfala. Na vinnav. Ni vinnav vi mos the aberfala, mais hia vin mos the aberfala. That means, do you want to go to Falmouth? No, I don't want to go to Falmouth, but she wants to go to Falmouth. A vinons I kuzel Kernuik? Na vinons. I vin kuzel Sosnek. That means, do they want to speak Cornish? No, they want to speak English. Avin Paul mos then dywoti? Na vin. Paul avin mos the coffee G. And that means, does Paul want to go to the pub? No. Paul wants to go to a cafe. Now I want to talk through the past tense, the simple past tense, also known as the preterite tense. The rules are basically the same as for the present tense. You can use the third person singular to conjugate it for all the other subjects in the same way as for the present tense. And the same mutations apply, obviously, the same particles apply for the same constructions. So, the conjugations for the preterite tense are Mynnes for the, Mynnes for ta, Mynnes for ev, Mynsin for ni, Mynsoch for hui, Mynsons for e. And the past tense can be constructed like mia vinas or e vinis vi. So I could say, I wanted to drink a coffee, but now I want to drink a beer. And that would be mia vinas eva coffee, mes lemon, mia vin eva korev. A vinsoch hui kuzel kernuik. Minsin. Heb mari vinsin ni kuzel kernuik. And that means, did you want to speak Cornish? Yes, of course we wanted to speak Cornish. And finally, to want someone to do something is Mynnes orth nebonen gul nepith. So for each word Mynnes, to want, orth, at, nebonen, someone, gul, to do, nepith, something. Now I'm going to tell you all about Gallos, the verb for to be able to, or can. It is also a noun meaning power and ability. So the constructions are exactly the same. I'll go through the present tense conjugations. Galev, v, gilith, ta, gil, ev or he, gilin, ni, giloch, hui, gilons, e. And the easiest way to conjugate the present tense is mia il, tia il, etc. Pandra ilin ni entra. Huia il entra lemin. And that means, when can we come in? You can come in now. You'll notice the word for when, pandra. This is used for basically any verb other than bose meaning to be. And when it's followed by the particle a, it contracts, so it has an apostrophe before the a, but it means pandra a. It can also be translated as may, so a alavi mos then dewoti can be translated as may I go to the pub. Na ilith, neil tamos then dewoti. No, you cannot go to the pub. Gallos does mean to be allowed to rather than to know how to. So you wouldn't use it to say, I can speak Cornish, unless you meant you have permission to speak Cornish. E ilons benenes bos su de rezo voard. That means women can be frontline soldiers. I said e ilons. You might have expected this to be ith ilons, but because the unmutated form of the word begins with a consonant, you still say I, even though the mutated form begins with a vowel. Now I'll talk through the past tense conjugations. Gillis, v, gilsis, ta, galas, ev or he, gilsin, ni, Gilsoch, hui. Galsons, I. Nia Alice, canna in eglos. We couldn't sing in the church. A illis vi, gwelles o mam? Na ilsis. Ni ilsis vi gwelles thavam. And that means, could I see my mum? No, you couldn't see your mum. And again, the na and ni stay that way rather than nag and nins, because the original word begins with a consonant. To ask a negative question, instead of a alavi, you could just say na alavi. So, na alsons benenes bos suderezo voard. Na alsons intermin espacias, ni alsons benenes bos suderezo voard. A ilsoch hui garma. Ilsoch. Can you shout? Yes. Now I'm going to talk about the verb Godhvos, which means to know how to. It can also be used in the sense of being able to, like being able to speak Cornish. So the present tense conjugations are gon vi, godhes ta, gor ev he, godon ni, godhoch hui, godons I. And the simplest way to say the present tense is mi awor, ti awor, etc. A woddo hui cusal cernuic. Wodon. Ni awor cusal cernuic, mais ni wodon zi cusal cernuic. Do you know how to speak Cornish? Yes, we know how to speak Cornish, but they don't know how to speak Cornish. Ni won vi means I don't know and is a very useful expression to have. A wodis ta dirosa? Na won. Ni won vi dirosa. That means, can you cycle? No, I can't cycle. A worev. Marchogeth? Gor. Eva wor marchogeth, mais ni wor he marchogeth. And that means, can he ride a horse? Yes, he can ride a horse, but she can't ride a horse. Now I'll go through the simple past tense conjugations of Godhvos. Godhvev, vi. Godhves, ta. Godhva, ev, he. Godhve, ni. Godhvuch, hui. Godhvons, I. So the simplest way to conjugate the past tense is mia godhva, tia godhva, etc. You should remember that this type of past tense is for a complete action rather than something you used to do. Ni wodhvons dawidha. They didn't know how to look after you. I wodhvedd kegina ankao. I knew how to cook the soup. Na wodhves ta kana. Did you not know how to sing? Wodhvedd. Mia wodhva kana ha donsja. Yes, I could sing and dance. Nans you pel, ni ilso hui redja. Long ago, you didn't know how to read. So those were the verbs Mynnes, Gallos and Godhvos. These are all auxiliary verbs and are mostly used with other verbs straight after them. I've done this episode today without a script, so there won't be a script linked in the description. If you'd like to let me know if it was much worse without a script, then I'm sure you can find a way of letting me know. Thanks for listening, and aga squelis at the next episode.